Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is a live game build breakdown for the live game we just ran two nights ago, right?
Yeah. Wow. Was that really 2 days ago?
I don't know. Chris and I are in a time loop, but this is anyway. It was the Ruins of Cailentyr. We can put a link to the game if you missed it in the chat. We're gonna walk you through this swamp build. We had some technical challenges during the game, and it was kind of hard to see this. So I wanted to kind of show you guys the build, walk you through some of the tips and the tricks and what we have going on here, maybe inspire you for what you're going to do on your table. And that's it. We're going to get out of here. We're going to try and keep this to an hour because we got a lot to do, because we're going to be back on tonight at 7 o'clock talking about the Dwarven Light Puck. And we have Daniel from Baconics on to talk about addressable LEDs and all that cool technology and, I don't know, possibilities for the future. And do we have any other important updates before we start looking at stuff?
Oh, we've got some. We got some. I know people have been wondering about videos. We've got some coming out today. I think we've got 3 that should be.
I think there's
going
Banks,
out today.
Banks and Light Puck.
Banks already. Light Puck's ready. Driftstones.
Driftstone might make it.
Driftstones should be good. I think I just need to show it to you after this.
Cool.
But
Well, we have at least 2, if not 3, maybe even 4, I don't know, of a bunch of hands-on videos. But we're going to be the next couple of days just bam, 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 bam. Hands-on videos are going to be exploding out all over the place. As we near the finish line on this thing. Anything else going on, Chris?
I don't think so terribly. I mean, the last couple add-on packs will be coming out soon, so that's huge. I know people.
Sort of last couple core add-on packs. There'll still be a couple little bits of spice that'll show up the last couple of days, but all the important stuff for building, for sort of forming your pledge, will be out. And the Heart of the Wild add-ons are out, which we're really excited about. The Heart of the Mountain, the Heart of the Forest, Heart of the Swamp. Seems like you guys are excited. Should we look at this thing?
Yeah, let's get into the build.
All right, so the core premise of this site, the idea was trying to do a 4x4 swamp build, but there's a bunch of escarpments, there's some forest stuff. Wanted to kind of do a hybrid thing. But the gag of this build was sort of halfway through, it was going to shift. This was supposed to be Feywild, and then it was going to shift to Shadowfell. So it was going to be this kind of fun changeover gag, which I think was pretty fun. We'll see. Hopefully it'll inspire you guys how you can kind of show the versatility of the swamp and things that you can do on your table. The narrative driver was, there's this. Oh, let's fire this thing up. You ready?
Yeah, it's good.
Dwarven Light Puck activate. Let's see. So we Codex Vault. You ready? Phew. Codex Vault activated. So the idea was players have to save the world. There's this. It's a classic. Wait a second. I didn't line this up right. So it was a classic example of I was trying to pack too much into a one shot. I had all this backstory that never really came out, and they didn't really understand anyway. And I had there was just, I don't know, I was trying to jam too much. I was trying to jam a 6-hour session into a 3-hour thing. I didn't think it was going to be that long, but it got lively. But anyway, the idea was that they were going to have to knock out the 4 sources of power that fed this thing. This was erected by the Cailentyr, the Eladrin of Cailentyr, 2,000 years ago. They were trying to seal their whole civilization into the Feywild to protect it from everything. But Vinkura, this green dragon, found out about it, and she meddled, and she seduced the queen and gave her these pylons, and that corrupted the ritual, and they fired it off. It ended up destroying them, but it trapped Vinkura in the Shadowfell, so she was trapped behind the seal. So what the players didn't know is when they were breaking this thing, so now the Shadowfell there's a rift forming in the Shadowfell, and if they didn't knock this thing out so they could take out the pylon, the rift was going to destroy everything, but also by taking this out, they were going to release the Shadow Dragon, which they didn't realize, and then have to fix it. So the idea was they were supposed to knock out the 4 sources of power for this, then the dragon comes out, and then they have to run around and undo everything that they did to get it in time while being chased around by like an unkillable dragon. It didn't quite go like that. Go figure. A D&D game didn't go exactly as planned. But we had the neat effect. Toby had programmed out this cool effect in here so that they could, when they did a thing, we could have a little kind of a glitchy effect on there, and then we could knock out each quadrant. That quadrant goes out, then this quadrant goes out. Where's it over here? Then this quadrant goes out as they hit each objective, and then boom, when they hit all of them, wham, 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 the whole thing is like a cool implosion. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I'll turn it back on. Oh, and then we had a reverse sequence when they start turning them back on, which was, I will show you that on tonight. But it didn't quite go like that, but we just on the fly. Just like any good D&D game, you just got to make it work with what's going on. And we have these guys we can explore around with. So these Eldritch Foundry did these minis, like basically like overnight for us. They got they jammed out the adventuring party. Oh wait, put them over here so you can see them, which was really cool. Did a little bit of custom work to get these guys going, and then Hamster painted them up all lickety split. It was pretty fun. Oh, we don't have any light on those guys, do we? No. All right, so let's walk through. We'll do a quick sort of walkthrough on what all the narrative bits were, and then we can look at some of these tips and tricks. So, hey, look at those guys. Can we see all the way over here? It's a long hall, isn't it? So this whole main section. This whole main section here is all an escarpment. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's right. It's all raised escarpments that then drop down into the swamp. So I wanted them to kind of come across this thing and have see this whole tableau ahead of them, but all this cool swamp with glowy plants and all, just sort of this wonderland. And of course they did look at it and they're like, everything here is going to kill us, which is kind of what you're hoping for. So this is basically, it's all just escarpments, which then have banks on top. Let me show you this one, right? It's just banks stacked on top of escarpments to make them feel kind of like lush mounds, and then peppered in lots of plants everywhere to make it feel very Feywild and lush and whatnot. I cheated a couple of places and used this is a serpent orb from KS4 because I didn't have another balefire lantern, and I have a tree from Dread Hollow in here, kind of. Out. This was a neat area. This was like a little peninsula. I don't know if you can see it. It comes in narrow here and then widens out over there. And there's a large, the huge hummock on top, which then has a burrows hole on top, and that had a little light inside. And this was like a weird suction thing. This was Chris's idea, right? That it would suck them out and pop them up over here. So it was like and which they ended up using, which was kind of fun. Yeah. It got them right. It was like the express lane right to the plot point. So this whole kind of rocky area, which kind of made it tough. It was like they didn't really know where to start or where to go. Except I don't know. I thought I'd give them a pretty explicit. Hey, you got to do 4 things. You have to knock out the source of power, the light that makes it grow, the water that sustains it, and the seal that binds it. But we got there. Wait, where's my? I gotta get the seal. Where's the seal? All right. So, and you have to let me know if the audio goes on my mic because the battery on the lavalier might die. All right. So we have this area. This whole area is escarpments with some banks on top, and then I did a fun thing over here. You guys can see there's using the trifecta ledges against the escarpments to then put some banks out here so that there could be like a little landing area that they could walk on here. You can see, right? So it's sort of a landing area that flows really nicely into the escarpments and then up. And then we put there's some razor vine floating down in the water on either side. There's just terrible plants everywhere. The whole idea was the first half of the thing was just going to be dealing with terrible plants. So we have, what do we have for fun plants? So kind of looked at the escarpments, and I was trying to make some tricky ways to go down. They could kind of go down that way and climb up. They could kind of work their way down here on the crescent rock and have to make a leap. They kind of work here and go down. And interestingly enough, in the first half, the water was just difficult terrain, right? There was nothing crazy about it. It was just difficult terrain. But they did everything in their power to not go in the water, right? They were like, it was like the water was lava. They were really afraid of the water, which is good because when it went Shadowfell, the water was full of like football-sized leeches that would really be nasty if you ended your turn in there. But they didn't. So over here, We have a little island of sorrow nests. So there were sorrow nests, little bulb pods, whatever. And then in the middle was the arcane mana stave. They had to pull this thing out of the ground to deactivate it. Try to keep it simple. These guys have psionic attacks, so you get to make an intelligence save. So Chris and I were talking about, like, when do you get to make an intelligence save? Like, seriously, when's the last time anybody had to make an intelligence save? So it was fun. And you know what? Like we predicted, Goblin Apples made his intelligence save. He was the rogue, and he got to feel cool. The barbarian and the cleric failed, and the rogue made a save, and it was like awesome. They got to use their abilities, and finally, like, it's the first time the rogue has ever had to make an intelligence save, and it worked. And if you didn't, you put your head down. You would try to take a nap with your head in the sorrow nest, and it would close around you. The tendrils would bore into your brain, put you in a state of perpetual nightmare, and it would feed upon your terror, your sorrow, your nightmare, and eventually your body would die because you just wouldn't eat. You were just sitting there screaming and dying in terror. I had a couple of method reads here, and the gag on these things are if you bump into them, there's all these, it's like pollen, super flammable pollen that kind of explodes out like little like milkweed pods. I don't know if anybody from the country, you have milkweed pods, kind of like that, burst open, and it would make like a little cloud around there that's obscured vision, but it's also super flammable. So if you hit it with something like a firebolt or a fireball, it accentuates the explosion. So they could kind of nuke these things if they hit like this with a firebolt or a fireball or something. Poof, this could blow up and then catch this on fire. And if you could somehow hit both of them, they would kind of set the whole area off. And these things were vulnerable to fire and didn't like fire. So that was kind of like taking use of the elements of the swamp against it. What other fun things over here? We got little fallen logs, lots of little, like, basically every, like, platforming, little spots of platforming. There's lily pads and logs and little mounds everywhere, and it was kind of like, platformy, all sorts of little zones, like where the zones you can go. How can you couldn't go straight from A to B, right? They had to kind of zig and zag around because they were avoiding the water. So it was a lot of, it really affected their movement of, like, how can we kind of snake around stuff. Back here, we've got, there's not a lot of flight on this guy. I was,
I got this. I got 300.
well, I'll just use my cell phone. We gotta get, maybe you can see the Quildren. Yay. So we got this beautiful Quildren here, the only Quildren in the swamp, up on the Titan's Tooth base. I can move this if it'll help too. See that a little better. And the gag here, so this had one of the things that had the seal of binding stuck in the in between the roots. Like there's a nice little gap in there, so I just shoved the seal of binding into the roots, which I could then pull out on the table, which made them kind of, the players squeal, which is kind of fun. And the gag here was this was like a 3,000-year-old Quildren tree, and it had grown around the seal, so it was like totally sealed in there. So they could either like try and chop down this ancient magical tree, or they had Autumn the Furbog who could speak to plants, but because this is Feywild, the plant could talk back. So he had to role play at the tree and convince the tree that he was going to do good if he got that thing and heal the land and yada yada. And I made it pretty easy for him. I think it was a fun little scene. So we got like this. Oh, and this is in like a nice little. There's once again water all around this thing. This is the one raised area, but the lily pads, so you could kind of work your way over. I should have done that side first, huh? And then we could have moved the camera and come over here. Sorry, Chris. All right, let's go to the other side. So we could we'll wander over there, and then we'll come back. In fact, maybe let's look at start the ruins. Maybe should I get to the ruins last, and we can move the camera?
Here now.
Right. Can you see them?
I can grab a. Let's see. Let's grab the loom cube.
Good idea. Boop. All right, so this was like a little ruins set up where, I'll move this around so you can see. Boop. All right, so just a couple arches and the buttresses with the arcane glow globes. And the gag here was they had to just basically break the glow globes to put the light out. which Ember's character Ash did with 2 boomerangs at the same time, which was like super fun, like the double boomerang attack. And once again, this is on an escarpment that goes right down into the water with the banks on top to just make a really kind of sheer thing. And it was a tricky jump and thing. It ended up in the water.
That was a really cool moment.
Yeah, Kelly's character Autumn used shape water to like push the water back, and it turns out there were leeches everywhere. Over here, we have. Can you see the? Maybe come in closer so you can get a hit above this bad boy. Boop boop boop. Uh-oh. Running out of room. Running out of everything. So this was, I'll move this tree. So this was the Fey Wellspring. This works really well with the light puck. I didn't have the light puck, so we just have like a little LED pod under there. We only have 1 light puck, and I was using it on the Codex Vault. But you could change these things are, you get them for like $10 on Amazon for like 10 of them. You can change the color of things. It's a fun. Oh, there we go. I don't know why this remote's not working. You can sort of see the. Let me shadow it. Hold on. You sort of see the light sneaking through the. Oh, the light is not happy.
Yeah, you can see
it
it
through the cracks on the sides there. It's very neat. And I've put all these like plants. We had all these little. We have the wolfsbane and the viscolid and the mephit reed and the shimmer fronds. So there's all these colorful plants around the pool to make this beautiful, colorful area. And the gag here was they had to jump in and swim. This was there was a little node to the elemental plane of water that had this endless flowing spring of water. They had to stop the flow somehow. Just knock this one out, and then middle here there's fun little hooked in. Like I like all these little like coves, or it just feels very swampy, like these little zones. And you can, if the A to B, you can just go straight across, but then there's water, or maybe you jump, or maybe you have to go around. It's interesting. And then we had the glamour leaf. Oh, I should turn her on over here. And of course, I broke 2 of the fronds since then. You see the cool color changing. And I actually had to remove when we did the switch over, I had to pull the glamour leaf out because that was going to just slow down the game like crazy. Because it was, it would have this mesmerizing effect, which would probably got them, but B, if she was going to try and talk to Autumn, the furball, and seduce him, and it's a royal thing, and it's a sassy flower seductress. So I had to pop that out because I was like, we're never gonna make this in 3 hours if the glamour leaf stays in there. But it was this kind of neat central island, which I thought would be kind of a staging point where they could kind of go anywhere from there. Got another huge hummock back here with a crescent rock on it to make like a cool sense of elevation. What's here? A lot of little walkways, right? So there's like a little platform. There's just a plain teardrop insert to a lily pad. Right? There's like a plain teardrop to a lily pad to this. So there's a lot of different ways you could cross. You could go you could sort of hop on the log here and jump from the log to the mossy rock mound onto here, work your way up. So it was like trying to make a lot of different interesting paths, but you had to kind of figure out where your best line was and whatnot. It was kind of fun. Ooh, put this guy over here. And then I guess the last bit. So then we have over here is just a big, massive bunch of escarpments with the new Aranthor ledges on top, with the stepped crag lump, with the rocky bridge, or was it stepped stump crag, with the rocky bridge that then connects to Titan's Tooth. Because someone I think put in the comments, they're like, we haven't seen you guys actually put anything like connect Titan's Tooth, and you have all these paired pegs, but let's do it. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And then of course I put the Titan's Tooth top is on the Titan's Tooth bottom, which is on a bunch of escarpments. So it's like super, I wanted this to be like this really cool, big, majestic things from the distance. You're like, wow, that's like a towering, and it was like they ended up having to like getting up there was like a whole thing, crazy cheerleader, color guard stunt to get up there, and the dragon came flying in. It was like a whole fun thing. And this has a LED in it, but the battery died and I didn't switch it before the stream. The color changing LED, so the pylon looks, so it's a kind of glowing thing in the distance when they first showed up. And then I think that's it. So now, let's do the, I'm going to show you that we'll do the switch over to Shadowfell, right? So the idea was to take this whole thing and then make it feel dead. So basically, what do we got? I had a bucket of dead trees.
Is that more than one bridge?
No, one bridge.
Yeah.
One rocky bridge, one Titan's Tooth, one rocky bridge, one stepped stump. What is it? Stepped stump crag.
How many pieces is that? Is that just for the rock climb? I guess we're kind of seeing that.
How what?
I think they were asking how many pieces were in the the escarpments at the end here.
A ton of 1x3s. Well, let me do the switch over, and then we can go. We'll break apart some of the areas so you can see all the bits. So, this was a fun one. So the Regal Rowan. So we did some fun stuff. So like the Rowan trees, which were just sort of plain, benign trees in the Feywild, became slink roots when they hit the Shadowfell. So suddenly, it made the traveling to that corner became really crazy because there were two slink routes. This Rowan became a slink route. If you want to pop out all the living trees, boom. So suddenly, like as if they didn't have a hard enough time the first time around, like now it was like everything got a little more dangerous. And the nice, cantankerous old Quildren that they were talking to, that we swapped out with a black rot, which theoretically if they hadn't talked to him yet, then he was going to be like this. Getting this guy to hand over the seal was going to be really hard. But luckily they'd already gotten it out, so we didn't move on. That was going to be a fun kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, or if they'd been talking to this nice ancient old tree, and then suddenly it was this real cranky, old, mean tree that was going to give him a hard time. So basically we're just swapping all of the living trees out with dead toppers. And then we did a fun gag with the light, where the light went from green to red, because everybody knows red is bad.
What's the table size again? This is a 4x4
4x4 build. Oh yeah, I should have said that up front. 4x4! Woo! Here, you can take this guy. The top and the bottom are. Thank you. Boop, boop, boop. This would be a fun thing to do, like if the group took a Dorito break or something. You could go swap. I don't know why I say Dorito break, right? Although I do love Doritos. If there was like you needed to take. Actually, if you're doing it remotely, right, and you did you took an intermission remotely,
Just
give
turn
everybody
the camera off for a bit.
Yeah, say hey, everybody, go take a 20-minute bathroom break. We'll be right back. You could switch the board when they turn the cameras on. Because that was the fun reveal of the show is we took an intermission, the players left, we just switch over, and they came back, and there was fog and red light, and all the trees were dead. And I think it gave a.
They actually couldn't see that either.
No,
like,
we shut down. They didn't know.
The audience could see us doing it because we had the break cam up, but I hid the terrain cam from the players while we were doing the changeover, so they had no idea.
They had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you guys like having the halftime camera. Like I thought it was really fun. That was my favorite thing you did, Chris, on the very first live game, where you just sort of can see behind the curtain a little bit of like, we're just a bunch of people in a dark room, like racing, a bunch of people, 4 people in a dark room, kind of racing around trying to make something look neat. What did I miss? This one. That one's okay because he's gnarled. Yeah, we can do a creepy creepy stump topper. Yeah. Yeah, I might as well switch that one too if I have it. Yeah, I do.
I liked the break camera, yes. Yeah, I love the intermission cam with you fixing the table. It was very fun to see.
Well, we like. I mean, part of the reason we do this channel is to just sort of pull back the curtain and just sort of let you guys see our process, right? Show sculpts in process, show mocks, show behind the stage of how the game is going. So all you just show you a bit of the process. It's fun to share.
It's just cool that I don't know, just that, the waterfall process is on
documented across a bazillion streams.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that was everything we swapped out. Oh, and I took out the glam relief and a couple of the shimmer fronds to make it feel more sinister. Right, so that was roughly the changeover. So it was so now I think it feels way more dead and creepy. And then if you did something,
especially with the lighting change and all that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if this could be totally ruin everything. Let's see what this is.
Which actually, people were asking how we did that, and it was just
Is that
changing
actually we just literally changed one light. I guess all the other lights are too bright, so you can't see it here. But it was just
it's not reading on the DSLR at all. Yeah, basically we ran a fog monster through, and changed the green lights to red lights, basically.
It's literally one bar.
So they're changing the webcam lights a lot more than the DSLR. The DSLR does not care about the light. It's barely affecting it. I love the difference in sensors between these cameras.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Oh, and we had the other. Where is that other rainbow? We had a rainbow behind the table, under the. So the fog would sort of spill off, and it was underlighting the fog, so it had that cool backlight effect, which is pretty neat. All right, so you want to do a quick sniper cam through on the dead world here, and then we'll take stuff apart.
Love Dead World.
Dead world. Oh, I didn't take any photos.
Be all right. Oh yeah, we should get. Did you get the overhead photos?
No, I got nothing, Chris. I got nothing.
We can grab it after the stream.
Yeah. If I don't, I won't take it apart too much.
Listening to. Alright, now we're back. I took it off of the mic and back on the mic, and it's just working again. Yeah.
So this was the big thing I forgot to swap out. Was I took the Fey pool, and then put the. Can you even see the fog on?
But you can kind of see it on the DSLR. If you put something black behind it, it'll be easier.
Where's the flag? So we put the spreading spore claw on there. Maybe a black flag.
Yeah, I know we have it.
Should be on that right. In here.
Oh wow.
Does that help it read? Can you see?
Yeah, helps a bit. You can see the fog coming off it a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a cool. Maybe it looks better like that. I don't know. No, that just blocks all the light.
I mean, they can see it drifting off.
Yeah, it's a cool effect. And Toby's working on the fog channels, so it'll. So yeah, you can't see this fog at all.
Yeah, they're saying in chat that they can see it.
Okay.
So it's.
Well, good. So that was the big fun one. Was the pool got replaced with a spore claw, and then of course they, Ember pulled out an antimatter rifle like one does on a D&D game. What? And shot the dragon back into the Shadowfell for a few rounds, and they went somewhat back into the Feywild. And then Apples the Goblin, Matt Lillard's character, jumped in the pool, but then it shifted back, and then the plant sealed up over him. But then when he blew himself out of there with a fireball, and Autumn the cleric had cast Blight on this thing, killing one of the heads, weakening it, he was able to blast out the hole and the thing. But so that was kind of the fun switch over into Dead World. And I think it looks kind of more dead and neat, right?
It's definitely a very different feel. Just having all the wondrous plants gone or replaced with ooh, that helps a lot actually.
Yeah,
that's great.
All right, it's gravy. Spore plant. Oh, and this thing poisoned. This was it was deadly lung poison. Probably killed Salome. Probably everybody died.
If Salome stayed standing, she could have revived Autumn and maybe Apples.
Yeah. Well, if she was still in the range of the spore, so she would have to make another thing. She would have. Yeah. But we'll have to see. We might have to bring these guys back and see what happened to them. Bring them. They have to go fight their way out of the land of the dead. All right. So let's break down some zones here. So I guess everybody's sort of excited about Titan's Tooth back here, right?
Yes.
So let me move this guy.
We get a lot of questions and requests around Titan's Tooth.
Because it's a cool thing. And anybody who plays Magic, Castle Garenbrig was a big inspiration for this piece. If you look at the art on that card, it's this crazy cantilevered rock that has vines on it, whatever. All right, so this was the crag and the Titan's Tooth top and the bridge sort of all pegged together. Word of the day. Oof, got my finger under there. And then there's the pylon on top. So then we could put a little nettle gorse, because I love these nettle gorse. These guys are it's one of my favorite plants. It's not pretty, but it has a lot of game effect, because that is sharp, but it doesn't necessarily block it doesn't give you cover. It's great. So we had nettle gorse sort of nestled in there to just make it inhospitable. I didn't want people to have to climb it. I wanted to kind of force them to go up the bridge, or in this case, do a giant jumping crazy leap onto a tree onto the thing. So then this Titan's Tooth base. So then the bottom here, look at this. It was 3 convexes, 3 1x3s, and an end cap. And that kind of gave me the footprint, just enough footprint to get this guy to sit on there nicely. All right, slide that back one. Something like that, and then Titan's Tooth on top. And then this side, I even forgot the 2x2 in here, but this was some ledges, just sort of a ring of ledges. I meant to put a 2x2 on the floor in there, and I forgot, but you couldn't see it because it was covered. And then this is 2 more convexes, boop, boop. 2 more 3x1s, a short straight, and then a pair of end caps. Break that whole thing apart. So it's not a ton of pieces. It's kind of all the little pieces, like the advanced builder set pieces, and then just chunk them all together, just to make a thing. I didn't even fill the middle because it was all covered. Didn't need to. Boop. Just like that. The bridge isn't sitting quite straight. Our pegs are a little off. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, it's off by a couple. Something's shifted. Oh, this shifted this way.
Right, you took it apart and put it back together.
Yeah. Like, what happened? Who broke all this? That was me. Yeah, it would fit better if I put a 2x2 in there, but I didn't, and it still works. All right. Then this is just a bunch of banks. I did this Banks gag where I took, instead of doing the small convex, I just took the stepped rock lump and I popped that in there, and that fills the corner. And then it made this, I like how this whole area was kind of like, felt rocky, like it flowed. It was all part of this rocky thing. My thought was like, maybe this was, in ancient times, this was a beautiful lush valley when Cailentyr was here, and then it's been flooded and marshy since, or something. Other fun build gags. Not much. It's all just your sort of standard, just playing with the banks, right? Different bank shapes. Oh, here's a neat little. This is a neat little trick. Boop boop boop. Oops, sorry. Can you see this? So this corner here, which is kind of a neat, sort of tight corner turn, is it's taking the small concave, and then I put the transitions, the banked to trifecta transitions on either side of it, and then line that up, and it makes like a really kind of a neat but organic looking 90-degree turn. So we could kind of have this, I like this, doing this little, this little inlet kind of thing here, like a little pool. So that's a fun little trick. I use these guys a lot. They're helpful to break up straights and do fun things like that. There's another one over here that's a good spot where you can move this link root. It tapers off, so it's straight. I don't know if you can see it's straight. And it lets it kind of taper off into the escarpment, so then everything gets escarpity over here. It's pretty sure that's a word, right, Chris?
It is now.
Yep. Like mutillarity or modular. Yeah.
Mutillarity.
Mutillarity. Just sounds like you get.
It's related to mutilation.
Yeah, like you're getting killed. Like, yeah, mutilate. There are fun little gags we do. The back of this, which I remember is all old, it's Cailentyr escarpments, just to make this solid for the camera, but doesn't really affect gameplay. Oh, we should look over here. This is a neat little gag. Want me to move that other camera, or is it okay? Whoop.
This
How are we
is,
doing for time? 140. Cool.
It's all good.
All right, so this was, I took a huge hummock and I put the rocky outcrop. I pegged pair pegs on the back of the rocky outcrop there to make this little, extend it out, soften that thing. Put the burrows, we'll insert on top of it to make this cool, like it looks like a cool tunnely thing on the top. And then threw all that on top of here. So this is just the end cap, convex, the short straights, and then that left a nice hole in the bottom so I could put a little light. I had one of these little pods. My wife is calling. I hope everything's okay. Hold on, touche.
All good.
I don't know.
I'll address a couple of quick things while that's going on. Somebody asked earlier about the teardrop insert that was being used by itself, just kind of on the ground. I think it was being used as like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the teardrop inserts
Yes.
can be used without the actual like teardrop holes. As,
Yeah.
as
Well,
scatter.
what's great about them, actually both places, I've used them a couple of places there just as scatter. Right? It's just a neat little way to make.
The shape's organic enough that you can just buy it as a mound.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's the plain insert, right? And it's designed to just look good. You can put it like put it on top of stuff to break up, make a little mound. You can put it like here, like we did as a stepping stone. There's a nice little jumpy spot. And that was sort of one of the things with the reason design behind the teardrop was they were sloped out so that they could sit like scatter, like they do. So then this was kind of fun. It's something I had never actually done before. Was this is two concaves here next to each other. If you can see, to get this cool shape, it was two concaves. Yeah, right. That was to make this peninsula.
That whole stretch of land is two pieces.
Yeah, these things are absolutely massive. Yeah. So there's that whole thing that followed by this little end cap. These boom, 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 boom. And these end caps are really good for knocking things back 1 inch because I wanted it to be just big enough to fit the hummock on. And then I sort of mask all this with the banks. It's kind of fun. Throw that thing on top there. Thought it made like a cool little peninsula area that was raised up so they could kind of survey the land. That was the whole fun, was kind of like the exploration of seeing all this seeing it lay out before you. And it's like, where are we going to go? Where are we going to get killed first? And what else are there? We're doing pretty well in time. So we got 15 minutes. Are there questions? Are there zones people want to explore? Are there?
Oh, I'm sure there are questions.
Unrelated?
I wasn't able to watch chat.
Why don't you roll back and see if there's any questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Hey,
move this back to its spot, and then
Mr. Mike Shea in the house. Hello, Mike. Oh, and if you've got questions about the dwarven light puck that's driving this, we're going to do that tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to do a huge walkthrough of the dwarven light puck and see. Let's see if I trigger something. See all the cool stuff you can do with it. There's lots of fun stuff coming there. But you'll tune in at 7 tonight, and we'll show off all sorts of.
Yeah, 7 Eastern tonight. It's going to be a light puck day. We've got the video coming out. We've got
it's
the
a
stream.
big. It's about time we can finally show this off, talk about it.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. All right. So, are there any questions?
Yeah. Let's see. Sly Florist just got here, which is like, Sly. We showed off the Titan's tooth on top, like mixed in with stuff.
What's he asking for?
He talks about the Titan's tooth all the time. So whenever we're talking about the Titan's tooth,
We'll have to watch
just
the
think about
replay.
Sly.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of piece that he likes, right? He has these kind of budget guides. It's like, hey, if you're going to go in for $300, what are the things going to get you a lot of value? In Caverns Deep, it was Stairway to Violence. This, hopefully, Titan's Tooth will get people excited because it's a pretty neat piece. You know, the other thing I haven't done with Titan's Tooth I showed, or maybe let me show you this over here.
Let's see. Trying to see what questions there still are. Can we see a mini next to one of the tall dead trees? That's pretty easy to do.
Yes. Just in a sec. Before that, though, let me show you this.
Break down the Titan's tooth.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Titan's Tooth top, and how did I do that? Was it this way? Yeah. You can do a neat thing where you put it on the huge hummock. I don't know if you can see it. Like, yay. Or you can also rotate it around. Like, yay. And it looks really, it's pretty neat. So that's yet another cool application for it. And that's a lot of playable space on top of that thing. You can people are going to put some crazy stuff up there. Can't wait to see it. All right. A miniature. Yes, I have a mini standing by.
One of the tall dead trees, which I assume is the one like the hanging moss in the middle there.
Yep. There's a small. So this is the standard height. Oh, this one doesn't have a peg. So this one is the regular height one. I don't know if you can see it. Boom, boom, boom. This is a human-sized character, and this is a goblin-sized character. And then this one is up on the projecting roots, so it's extra tall. So we can put it here. We'll do a regular height.
It's like 3 times the height of the mini.
4.
4 times the height.
And then if you're a goblin, it's like 8. And then if you put it up on the projecting roots, that gives you another. Yeah, it's towering. That's the top. You can't even see my fingers off the screen. Yeah, it's big. So and she's tall. She's like a 6.5 foot Amazonian shifter.
She's one of the bigger. She's one of the bigger minis. We've got some questions about the wellspring.
Yes.
Will it be cast
well.
Let's see. Will it be cast
clear.
in the same color as the waterfall, or will it be another? It'll be clear.
You know, I don't know, all of this clear casting colors, a lot of it is actually going to depend on the, it's going to depend on the casting numbers. So if we're only making 300 waterfalls, we're going to have to cast it in plain clear, and then they use these translucent inks to color it. If we're casting 5,000 waterfalls, then we'll probably do it in a blue. This is going to be a clearish, it's going to be clearish because we want as much light. You want the light puck to be able to change the color underneath it, not have too much color to it. So it's almost plain clear. It has just like a hint of teal. It's hard to see.
And somebody was asking...
and it's going to be translucent through the cracks. You can sort of see. Oh,
yeah. There's going to be some more information about this extremely
We're going to show it tonight on the air. You'll see all the cool effects with it, and then we'll continue to show it the rest of the campaign. Should be fun. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, there's Wellspring stuff coming.
What else? What else? We got...
Let's see some Yulgrim.
Got 10 more minutes. Not so bad. Not so bad.
Is there any balance issue with the Titan's Tooth? It seems to hang over quite a bit. It's actually got a wider base than you expect, right?
Here's the, you can see the bottom. We put this little, it has this little jut of rock here that sticks out that helps distribute the weight. So it's actually, it's not as, and there's more weight back here than there's out there. So it's, in polystone there's no problem, and I don't think it should be a problem in dwarvenite. I wouldn't necessarily balance a large castle tower on the front of it. I might take it, but yeah, it balances pretty well. If it didn't have that little foot, we might be in trouble. But we put it there for a reason.
I see the Titan Tooth and can only think of the Lion King. We did use Pride Rock as a...
Yeah, we were like, we need a Pride Rock type thing that you can do your evil villain monologue from and whatnot.
Which pack is the Wellspring / Light Puck in? You'll find out very
soon.
So
the Light Puck is going to be its own pack, which we will launch tonight. And does the Wellspring go out tonight? Jeez. It might not be going out until tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure it does. I think almost all of the Light compatible stuff is tonight.
Yeah.
Except for one or two.
But we'll have a couple of packs that'll be in a couple of packs. We got some stuff coming out, and we get all these bits out there. Oh, and there's so much cool stuff like this. This is flat for a reason. Like you can build. We'll demo it tonight. There's tons of things you can do. This is a huge enabler. Like I don't think it's disguised. The powers of the Wellspring are hidden, but they will be revealed this eve. It is this thing. It's bonkers. Between that and the whole null, there's lots of fun compatibility to be had.
Does the puck come with any of the pledges, or it's entirely just its own?
If we are going to put it in, if you get Wildlands Untamed, it's going to be in there, assuming we get through enough stretch goals. But I'm not worried about it. It'll be in there.
Any schedule for the Escarpment Mega Pack?
I think the megas are coming Saturday. Is tomorrow Saturday?
Tomorrow is Saturday, yes.
Oh yeah, that's why Tyler's like, you gotta look at them, make sure all the comps are good before they go out, because that's the mega.
That's why we're not going along with the stream today, is we got to make sure that all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then will it include trifecta pieces, or is that a separate mega pack? That's a separate pack.
So what we're gonna do is Escarpment mega pack will be one pack, and then there'll be mountain ledges mega and forest ledges mega. So you can choose the ledges for your escarpments that suit you. So if you just want Mountain World, you can. If you want Forest World, you can, or you can get both. We're trying to give you options.
Are all these new pieces in the Untamed Pledge? I think everything on the table except for the mats.
Everything will end up in the Untamed Pledge.
Just not the mats, right?
All the sculpted terrain will end up in the Untamed Pledge. The battle mat, or the texture mats, and the battle boards and some of the terrain trays won't be in there, but all of the sculpted stuff will be in there. But any of the if you want, the texture mats are like a $25 add-on if you want to buy one. The battle boards we've got singles and doubles, or singles, doubles, and 9 packs or something of those if you need them. the terrain trays, we have single packs and whatever. So if you need to get it, if you want to get any of that stuff, you can buy them as add-ons. But you get all the sculpted stuff, and all the sculpted stuff that we unlock will end up in those pledges.
One more question about the Escarpment Mega Pack, and then I'm going to move on to some other stuff that people asked. Will all of the escarpments, will there be at least one of every escarpment in the Mega Pack?
Yeah.
Including the cutout escarpment and Hidey Hole?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't looked. I gotta glance over the thing, but I'm pretty sure I put everything in the world in there, and it's really expensive.
Not the waterfall though, yeah. The waterfall's not in there.
No, because it's its own.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was some other stuff that I thought would be good to cover. Yeah. Okay. How many of the pieces with the pin inserts for the bridge are the same height? Will it be tricky to bridge from one to another? It's mostly on escarpments, right?
The height, the Titan's Tooth pegs are the same height as any of the pegs. Like we have a couple of the stump lumps have pegs, so they're at the same height. The the Rocky Outcrop that has pegs is the same height as this and the same height as the Titan's Tooth base. It's also the same height as the back of this. It's also the same height as the side of the Crescent Rock, right? So this has a pair of pegs here, same height here, same height here. The Titan's Tooth base, those pegs are high. Those are set for 50. So you need to put this on a 25 millimeter or on a floor, 12 millimeter or 11 mil riser. The pegs, the upper pegs on this and the pegs on the oblong are both the same height. What else has pegs? And I'm dreaming of putting, in the side of the oblong, of the huge hummock, those pegs are the same height as the side of this, the side of this, the side of this, the Rocky Outcrop. I'm dreaming of putting pegs on the upper part of that huge hummock. This, we'll see if I want to adjust this a little bit and flatten it out so we can put a couple of pegs there, and those would be the same height as the side of here and the side of the oblong. But anything that are off a little bit, it's easy enough to put. You just need to throw one floor, and that should get you up to height. But that's a great question, and we haven't really talked to it too much, so that's a good one. You guys have great questions. Love this.
There was one more about the pegs on the bridge, I believe. This one I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Does the stone bridge work with the end cap for massive cantilever fun? Yes, it does.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah, you can put two of them on either side and just have it be like a cool little freestandy thing if you want.
Rabbit wants me to tell you that you
Rabbit.
were right. Wildlands is going to ruin him.
Hey, I heard you're going untamed. Man, you're a brave man. And my apologies to the missus.
I saw you talk about going untamed, I think on Discord earlier, so I told Nate about it, and yeah.
Yeah.
What else is in here? Say we don't have the money for a big pledge now, or yet, but we pledge 10 now. Once the pledge banner comes out in 4-6 weeks, would be
yes.
But yeah, you can upgrade.
Yes.
That's honestly that's what I do. Largely because I don't have time to think about it.
It helps us. What I would do is I would put in $10 and then put in, if you're like, all right, my budget's $500 or my budget's $1,000, put in the 1,000 now, and then it'll be there in the pledge manager, because then it helps us unlock all these stretch goals. Whatever. And then you figure out in the pledge manager, you figure out which pledge you end up wanting to go for, what you think, add it all up in pledge manager, but put in the cash now so it helps us do all our unlocks. And then you can sort it out in the pledge manager. Because really, all of it, right now, all of it's just, other than your base pledge, everything else is just phantom money right now. It's just a bucket of money, and Kickstarter doesn't know what it is. Until we get to the pledge manager, none of it's actually allocated anywhere. You haven't actually bought it. You may intend to buy all this stuff, but you haven't actually bought it until we get to the pledge manager. So dump in what you think your sum is, and then we'll sort it out in the pledge manager.
Winter walkthrough videos coming. We've got tons of 2 for sure coming out tonight. I'm pushing to make sure that we get a 3rd out, and then we should have some more ready for tomorrow.
We're gonna keep. We have 11 or 12 in the pipeline or something.
The goal is to burn through all of them by Monday. Yeah. We've shot them all now, and now it's just
cutting. We have 4 people cutting.
Let's see.
So, because the problem is that they end up being long. I think these are longer than our previous. Like the Banks one is 25 minutes long. There's a lot.
Would you be able? Oh, I think your mic died. Let's pull out the. Yeah, let's pull that out.
Prepared.
Yeah, I prepared a backup mic in case his lav died. Yeah, let's. Ooh.
Yep. Light is
All right,
out.
you should now have.
Hello.
All right, we should have you back now.
This is Radio DFWL Wildlands Live. I don't know.
DF Live, something like that. Okay, excellent.
WW.
Let's see. Will the Untamed be able to build this build, and will you have stuff left over? This is a lot of. Well, let's see. You've got some mountain, you've got some forest, you've got swamp.
I don't know. It's close. I think you're sure. I think there's definitely more 3-inch, the short straight escarpments. I have more in here than are in Untamed. Because I have a lot, right? I've got.
It's a thing where like this is like less pieces than are in Untamed, but you used a lot more specific kinds.
I was a little heavy on some, like those shorts and the 1x3s. I think I was heavy on. I think the Banks are about the same.
But it looks like you're using like a lot less mountains pieces than you would get in Untamed.
I'm using a lot less forest. Like there's no, there's no like, there's very, very little plain forest, or no plain forest, and no plain, like there's no mountain floors or whatever. It's basically, it's all escarpments and, actually I have mountain floors under there, but it's all escarpments and banks. Banks and escarpments, and then this. You'd have all the flashy bits. I don't know. I didn't have time to like do a piece list as I was building it. I was just building to what would be cool for the table. But
okay, 2 more quick things we should cover. It's 2:00. We've got to get working on some of these add-ons. 2 things. Just in general, covering. People want to know about. Sample pledge builds and also like pictures of like stuff that you can build with just the mega packs. One of the things.
Sorry, backing up on this. You can definitely fill a 4x4 table, no problem with the Untamed. I did a 4x6 build, and had pieces left over. Like you can definitely fill a full table. I don't know if you could do this precise thing, but like you can definitely you could do some a variation there, and especially if you use some of your forest pieces to make slightly larger islands and whatnot. Anyway, sorry. Back to. What was the question?
So people asking about like sample pledge builds and also like getting pictures of what you can do with mega packs.
Toby's working on them. He got kind of derailed by Light Puck. We had a bunch of Light Puck programming and playing and whatever. He has comps. He has like samples. He did some really good. They're really cool. He has 3. I think for each biome there's a sample pledge that's about 150, 300, and 500, I think, were the 3 thresholds, except for he did a bonus forest one at 600 that was all sculpted. And then he has some hybrids of 2 biome hybrids that are like 700, I think, or 1,000, I don't know, something. And then, so he's going to shoot those tomorrow. He's going to build them out. He has the spreadsheet. He has the compositions together. He hasn't actually built. He did rough sketches of what they lay out. But there's some neat and some cool ones, right? He's like, hey, if you you could start with a starter scatter and spend, there's like a $500 pledge that starts with the starter scatter because it's got good scatter, and then throw some other bits to make it work. And he did there were some neat things that he did to. There's some clever building in there, so I think it'll be hopefully insightful. So we should hopefully have that up by Sunday. We're gonna have a little page on the website for it. So hopefully Sunday. They're coming though. We haven't forgotten about you. There's a lot of everything has been hard. This pandemic has slowed everything down a lot.
We have less hands in the office to help manage the stuff in the office. And so that's the thing, is like with the last couple of days, like now that we've put all this stuff in place, the last couple of days, like I know that I personally also want to spend a lot more time getting pictures of stuff that you can do with this stuff and getting it out there.
Videos, get all this stuff.
And
the prototypes are the other bottleneck. So like Toby was ready yesterday to start building these things, but I took all the swamp pieces were stuck in here. Plus we had then the forest and out, and we had all this stuff tied up in the heart of the pledges. So between this and the heart of the wild add-ons. Like there weren't pieces left for him to actually build the stuff. He was ready, but we ran out of prototypes. So
yeah,
there's that.
So that's the thing. So speaking of which, we got to go.
Was there one last question, or was that
it? There was a general. What's the difference between dollars pledged in the Pledge Manager versus the Kickstarter for us?
For us, it's better. Like Pledge Manager is better for us because we don't lose 8% to Kickstarter. But now, like it's better to pledge now and blow open all the stretch goals. And you know what it is? It tracks the more momentum we have. Like we're visible on Kickstarter, we're invisible on Pledge Manager. So that having more visibility and more activity in Kickstarter helps us get more people find out about it. The more sort of exciting it is, the more activity there's going on. So it's better to pledge up now than it is in the Pledge Manager. Yeah. Ultimately, for the big picture, we would take the 6% or 8% hit to have more momentum. And
then covering payments real quick, can they convert? I'm trying to remember. I think we answered this before. Can you convert a gift card to use in the Pledge Manager if you email a customer service or something?
Yeah, we have to do it manually.
Yeah, so if you contact customer service, you can use a gift card in the Pledge Manager.
There's lots of payment chicanery we can do for you if you email customer service.
And you can also use a different card in the Pledge Manager than you use in Kickstarter, and you can use multiple cards in the Pledge Manager.
You basically go to Pledge Manager, you check out, you use that one card, you pay for all that stuff, then you unlock your order, you put in other stuff, run your next card, pay for it. You can run a third card after that or whatever. But customer service team is on it to help you with that stuff.
Yeah. So I got to get Nate out of here. If any of you guys have questions, if any of you guys have questions, feel free to head over to the Discord. There's a lot of people over there who help answer these questions on like a daily basis. I'll also be there if there's anything that you specifically need people in the office to answer. I'll put a link in there now.
The comments section. We always have somebody in the comments section.
Yeah. Comment section in Kickstarter is.
And we'll be on live. We'll be on live tonight at 7 with Baconics. Tomorrow night we'll be on live with Joe Manganiello. And then we'll be on
Sunday
afternoon with Russ. And then Monday is painting. And then Tuesday in the afternoon we're doing a build. We can answer questions while building.
That's what I figured. As I think the Tuesday afternoon is going to be a huge answering questions.
Dude, I think I'm going to go for like 3 hours just building and answering questions on camera. We're just gonna.
If we've got the bandwidth, absolutely.
Toby and I are gonna just try and fill a 4x8 table, and we won't finish the whole thing there, but we're just gonna start building, and you guys can give us some things to build and ask some questions, and maybe we can actually just demonstrate it. They're like, hey, how does that work? And we'll just make it. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
There you go. It'll be fun.
All right, excellent. All right, thanks for watching, guys.
Thank everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your good questions. Thanks for your excitement. We'll be back tonight at 7. Tomorrow at 7. Sunday again. Keep it all cooking. Thank you for the endless support and enthusiasm and just being part of this community. It means a lot to us, and we're really having a good time sharing this adventure with you. Until then, back to the anvil. And by the anvil, I mean the computer to get the update out.
Oh, I don't have the Doom logo thing. There we go. That's it.
Yeah.